we have free perks for new subscribers, discounts and such, free beer. So if you haven't subscribed, if you're just kind of trolling and trying to figure out if you want to be a sub, there's a lot to learn here. I promise your game will improve if you take my advice and if you actually work. But if you don't know what you're doing wrong, you're almost certain to figure out what you're doing wrong by watching my videos. That's a promise. This is what we do. We roll. You just saw the highlight reel and just the edited clips of the shots. Now we're going to show the whole game and analyze it step by step, and then we're going to watch the whole game without any editing and without any commentary. And then we're going to close it down until the next video. And I'm publishing probably 3-4 videos a week, not a day. Anyway, thanks again for coming by. Let's look at this table. The first half of the rack, or the 1 through the 5 actually, is up table. And the rest of them are down table except for this 8-ball. So you have the Q here, the Q to the 1, the 1 to the 2, the 2 to the 3, the 3 to the 4, the 4 to the 5. The 5 to the 6, the 6 to the 7, 7 to the 8, and the 8 back to the 9. Interesting. The problem here is the 6-ball. And getting right on the 5 to get above, or to that side of the 7. I don't necessarily want to come up underneath the 7 because the margin of error is too small and there's a bigger margin of error on the other side, and I'd rather bounce out and shoot the 7 in this side, and that way I'm automatically on the 8 to pull back on the 9. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what you're saying. It all comes down to our style, but here we only have 3, maybe 3.5 inches to get to if we try to get perfect and to come down. And because this 6-ball is off the rail too, if we get straight on the rail, it's going to be just a little bit difficult to get back on the 7. So you can see before I start shooting that I'm checking the line to get on this 6. And where I need to be on the 5, we could just roll up, a couple inches after the 5-ball. Or we could get a little bit of an angle and roll down to this rail here and bounce off and still be good on the 6. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm concerned with. I did not shoot this. I twisted my wrist on this 1 ball. Although it's just, let me turn the volume down. Although it's just a little poke, and for some reason I also put left-hand English on it, and it came up a little bit too close to the pocket, and it almost got away from me. Yeah, not my best shot there. This is just pulled back a little bit. I know it's hard to see the angle here. We do need a little bit of an angle off this 3 to get back on the 4. Of course, you still need an angle off the 4 to get back up on the 5 to the position we determined before we started shooting, which is either straight in or a little bit short of straight in on the 5. So it's all about getting right on this 3-ball to get back on this 4, to get right on the 4 to get that angle on the 5. And it looks like this is hidden, that I'm stuck behind the 8, but I'm not, and it's just not the best camera angle. And if I had another overhead camera going, I could cut to it right now and you would be able to see that there's plenty of room to get by this 8-ball. And that's my goal. That's on my bucket list, to get an overhead camera just rolling, through everything, and just use it when I need to show you stuff like this. I will get to it. If I have to put a pool table in my new studio, I will do it. It will. I do have room. Um, you know, I just don't want to put out $8,000 at the moment, and I'm sure you can understand that. So, yeah, that was a little bit dangerous because you don't want to get straight in on the floor, but I still have a good angle. And this if you shoot this with a little bit of draw, it'll roll up. It'll bounce off this rail a little bit, but you're still rolling up. But I come up short on the 5, and now I have an issue. If again, it's hard to see this angle, but if I just try to wuss this, just shoot this at pocket speed, this cue ball is going to get away from me. You're going to get stuck behind this 9 ball down here, and you're going to be in a bad position, and you're going to have to bank it. If you try to force this cue ball to this rail to come up 2 rails and back up on this 6, you're liable to scratch, and you're just cutting the cue ball loose. It's not a good option. A better option here is to stun this while putting left-hand English on it to come down, hit this rail, and come up here. But I make the mistake here because it's in my blood to draw every stinking ball on the table, as you guys probably know if you watched any of my videos. So I'm putting bottom left on here and trying to come up behind the 7 and go down to this rail. When I should have just stunned it with left-hand English. But I is a dingbat, and here comes a disaster. Total major disaster. Yeah, that deserves a boo. Yeah, you guys can boo me if you want. I'm very sorry. That was humiliating, and it's probably the worst shot I've ever put on YouTube. But there it is. It is what it is, and I've got nothing to hide. I make mistakes just like everybody else. There's something really good about this crazy reverse bank, and this is a 1-pocket shot, as everybody knows. The natural path of the cue ball is 3 rails to get perfect on the 7 ball. It's gonna hit this rail. It's gonna hit this bottom rail. It's gonna hit that rail, and it's gonna come up in perfect line on the 7 ball. So when I see that, when I recognize that, I relax a little bit, and I've spent my life as a shot maker because I've always struggled with position play. And this would be a good example of me digressing to my old ways. So if you can't play position, you're forced to either be a shot maker or you're going to lose every game you play. And so I thought it was cool to be a shot maker, and the fans loved it, and the people who didn't know anything about pool thought I was great. And so this is what I did, which is really the road to being homeless. Don't don't take that road. You don't want to be a shot maker. You want to be an expert position player. And if you're also a shot maker, you can get yourself out of jams like this, which are going to happen occasionally. So it's a lot of left-hand English on this ball. And like I said, you're in perfect line for the 7 ball. And it's automatic position. So let's pull back a little bit. I believe this is just a stop shot on the 8. And we're directly in line with the 9 ball. So yeah, it wasn't pretty, but again, it is what it is. None of us are perfect. And there it is. I want to show you something real quick here. There's a Cyclops through Steve McDonald, old McDonald. sent us a prototype to test out and give feedback on. So it's a new rack that it's not on the market yet, but they're deciding if they want to market it, and I'll be giving feedback on that real soon, and I might even make a video out of it, how it works, how it breaks, how the players like it. Of course, if they keep the balls tight and all that good stuff. But you'll be hearing more about that in the coming days. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really do appreciate your time. Expect more videos. I'm going to start cranking them out again. Out done in the studio. Peace.